Hey friends, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, we're going to talk about one of Utah's most coveted and well-known cities, Layton, Utah. We're going to give you the dirt on Layton, Utah. Is it a good place to live? Is it good for families? Singles?
So stay tuned because we're going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything you need to know if you're planning to make a move here to Layton, Utah. These are going to be your top 5 pros and cons of living in Layton, Utah.
If this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything about living, eating, sleeping, working, and playing in northern Utah and cities like Layton, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in northern Utah.
We are Sloan and Kim Peterson here with the Peterson Group, and every day we get calls from people just like you looking to buy, sell, invest, and relocate here to northern Utah. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All of our information is in that description box below, so we can help you make that smooth transition here in northern Utah and cities like Layton.
Okay, so the first con we're going to talk about is the reason why a lot of people know of Layton, and that's because that's where our Air Force Base is, Hill Air Force Base. And if you've ever lived near a base, then you know that it could be a great or it can be a con depending on your lifestyle and what you are looking for. Some cons it adds is the noise, right? So a lot of us started working from home in 2020, and we do a lot more work at home during business hours. And that also happens to be when the jets are practicing on base. And so the noise can definitely be a lot if you are on the phone or having Zoom meetings or whatever that looks like. So if you are considering moving to Layton, that is just something that you should consider that can contribute to whether or not it's a pro or a con for you living there.
So another con is going to be the traffic that we experience here in Layton. So obviously because we have the base as well as large commercial presence here in Layton, along with it also being 95% built out, the traffic can be a mess and really annoying sometimes, especially during those high commute times. The gate for the base is really located off one of the main roads in Layton, which is called Highway 91, which also has a freeway access down below off of 700, really between the hours of 7 and 9 a.m. and then 4 to 6 p.m. It's just really backed up traffic all the way, probably like 5 to 10 miles, which could take a long time for to get through. Another one of the main roads has a lot of the commercial and restaurants located on it. It's called Antelope, and there's another one called Hillfield Road as well. So since those two are running right through with all the commercial buildings, that adds a lot more traffic as well as people are trying to get, to all those restaurants and freeway accesses. So while there is a lot of freeway access in Layton, it can still take, 30 to 45 minutes to access one of the ramps depending on where you live. It can also take just as long to get across town, so if you really don't like to deal with traffic, then Layton really might be frustrating and not a place you'd want to consider living.
Okay, so another con is the cost of living. Layton has definitely gotten more expensive in the last few years, and it's always had a luxury area, but that's actually grown quite a bit with luxury new builds happening and more people wanting or needing to move north of Salt Lake. For people who maybe lived in Salt Lake and felt like that was becoming unaffordable, they started moving north towards places like Layton, which of course caused Layton to jump in price due to demand and people willing to pay more to live outside of the city.
All right, the next con we're going to talk about is of course going to be the lack of nightlife. Again, Layton doesn't really have that big city feel that some might be looking for if they do like, that kind of that lifestyle of nightlife. Now, don't get me wrong, it has a ton of restaurants, mostly chains, movie theaters, shopping, and things like that, but it doesn't really have a downtown area, no clubs or bars, anything like that. So if you like to do that kind of thing as part of your lifestyle, like nightlife lifestyle, then Layton will be lacking, a little bit. You could drive to Salt Lake City, which is again, maybe about a half an hour from Layton. So it's not totally out of your options, right, out of your cards, but the city itself would be lacking quite a bit in that knife.
Okay, and so the last con we're going to talk about is the weather extremes. Now, this is basically going to be a con in most of Utah, but particularly cities that are closer to the mountains and on the east side of the freeway. Winters can have a lot of snowfall, which can make driving and general living in the winter months a little bit more difficult. So if you aren't used to that particular living in the winter or living around snow, then you might not like it.
Now let's hop into the pros of living here in Layton. So one pro of living in Layton is going to be the proximity. Now when we lived in Layton, one of my favorite things about it was You are exactly right in the middle between Ogden and Salt Lake, so if you do commute either direction for either work or play, or maybe your spouse goes the other direction, you're gonna be right there in half, which makes that commute time really nice. If you like that suburb type feel, but you really need to be close to a city, then it might just be the perfect city for you.
Yeah, and quite frankly, when we lived in Layton, that was one of my favorite things about living in Layton, is just the proximity to both our major cities.
You're like 25 to 30 minutes from each of them, so it's pretty cool.
Okay, so another pro of living in Layton is the economic growth. Layton has really been a big proponent in job growth, with a base bringing in a ton of jobs with companies like Northward moving into the area. They also have a new hospital, tons of restaurants and shopping, and recreational options, making the economy great no matter what career field that you might be in.
So another pro is going to be its family-friendly environment. So Layton is actually known for its safe neighborhoods, its great schools, and numerous parks, making it really an ideal place for families to relocate. There's a state park, which is called Antelope Island. If you're lucky, you can see some buffalo and some bison out there, some good hiking, and then you can actually even see the Salt Lake very well, anywhere from the park. So it's a very cool park to check out. They also have aquariums and game centers, and really so much more that is geared for families to really enjoy together. So if that's the type of city you love, then you'd probably enjoy living here in Layton City.
And another pro, which is pretty obvious, is Hill Air Force Base, right? And we talked about what is a con for some is a pro for others. A lot of people who do move to Utah are PCSing here, or they are working on base. So Layton is the perfect place to live to be close to their home base. A lot of people love the sound of jets, and you can even catch the air show for free, minus the crowds, if you live in certain areas near the base. So for some people, they love living close to that base.
All right, so another pro is going to be the beautiful scenery and outdoor activities. So Layton is surrounded by stunning natural landscapes, including the Wasatch Mountains and the Great Salt Lake. Residents can enjoy hiking, skiing, and other outdoor activities. In fact, one of the most popular, beautiful hiking trails are in Layton, and one of them is called Adams Canyon. If you love the outdoors, then Layton definitely has a lot to offer for you. Of course, there are so many more pros and probably a few more cons of living right here in Layton, but for the sake of this video, we wanted to keep it to the most popular issues that we hear about. If you have any questions or like to discuss Layton further, we would love it if you would just reach out to us. Give us a call, send us a text, or just comment, below, and we'll chat with you about it.
We hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Picking where you'll call home is an important decision, and we would love to help you make that smooth transition to cities like Layton. If you're looking to purchase in the northern Utah area, we would love to help you out. Give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. And until next time, we're keeping it real. Estate.